welcome to Keen on Keys. This is more or less a quick add-on to my PSS-100 video, and I will show you another of these small square wave toy keyboards, the PSS-130. This is quite common, and it was released 3 times, so I thought it might be worth to have a closer look at it. Yamaha started using FM synthesis for most of their home keyboards in the mid-80s, but at the lower end of their product range there were still some small square wave keyboards. The PSS-100, which is the most advanced model in the series, the 125 and 80, which by the way was also released in red for the Japanese market, were the last square wave keyboards made by Yamaha, all based on the same sound chip and released in 1989, just a few months after the PSS-20, which is a bit different. The PSS-130 came out in 1987, and it's a lot simpler than the 100. It has 32 mid-size keys, 2-note polyphony, 8 sounds made of simple square or pulse waves to be exactly, 8 rhythms, a recorder, a power jack, no audio output, and a speaker that tends to distort at highest volume. It's a reissue of the PSS-120, which came out in 1986, as part of what I call the 60s series, which consists of 6 models. It seems to be the little brother of the PSS-160, which sounds similar. The 260 is completely different and was already released at the end of 1985, while the PSS-360, 460 and 560 are all based on FM synthesis. The following year, 1987, was a special year for Yamaha. They celebrated their 100th anniversary. Maybe that's the reason why they decided to reissue the 60s series as the 70s series, a practice that's quite common among keyboard manufacturers. But this was the first time that Yamaha re-released a bunch of models at the same time. The 170 and 270 are also FM based and sound different than the 160 and 260. But the 370, 470 and 570 are the same as their predecessors, except for the cosmetic details. And it's the same with the 130. And they released it a second time in 1987, just a few months later, as the PSS-30 with a different housing. These 3 models are technically the same. They use the same sound chip and they have the same sound. Even the demo tune is the same. Just a monophonic melody with a beat, but you can play along if you like. And we see the polyphony is actually 3 notes. I don't want to know how many kids drove their parents mad with this keyboard. It's way too loud and distorted at highest volume. And it's not only the case with my model. But this was ultra modern back then, and based on the latest electronic technology. I don't have to tell you that this wasn't even true for the PSS-120 a year earlier. Anyway, let's have a closer look at this piece of high-tech from 1987. No date stamp at the bottom piece, and it's quite bare inside. Just a single chip, the YM2410. A very simple button mechanism. The PSS-100 has the exact same keys. Time to drill. I'm going to install a mono jack with a switch contact, so that the speaker is muted when a plug is inserted. For more details, watch my PSS-100 video. I will clean all parts, also the key contacts. And the power switch needs some contact spray. The orchestra section consists of 8 very simple square wave instruments. The first one is clarinet. Oboe and violin as well are distorted when 2 keys are pressed at highest volume. I kind of like that, and I'm not quite sure if I should change it. Maybe I reduce the volume instead. The volume control has just 4 increments, and it reduces the sound quality a bit. Or to be exactly, it reduces the resolution of the decay phase. The length doesn't change. But this is only important for piano and harpsichord. There's no significant change between the 4th and 3rd step. So I will reduce the volume for now. Violin, nearly the same as oboe, but with vibrato. Xylophone. Piano. Banjo. The repetition is a bit too slow, and unfortunately it can't be changed with the tempo control. Harpsichord. And electric guitar, the second sound with vibrato. If this wasn't very accurate, it's only halfway because of my timing. The keys don't react quick enough when 2 keys are pressed. The keyboard can only respond to 2 commands at the same time. That means you can play a note and change the volume, start a rhythm, or change the instrument at the same time. These file switches allow to change the instrument very quickly. But you can't change anything while playing 2 notes. And you won't hear a sound while pressing 2 buttons. We have 8 one-bar rhythm patterns. No auto accompaniment, no fill-ins. There's not even a start button. The rhythm starts when you select it. The default tempo is 110 BPM. You can change it in 15 steps from 40 to 230 BPM. Press both buttons at the same time to get back to 110 BPM. Take care of the snare drum, especially when you want to play along with the xylophone, because it plays an E flat with a similar sound. It can sound very detuned. The rhythm changes immediately, so you can create fills. Finally, we have the melody memory, a very limited sequencer. You can record a single monophonic melody with up to 110 notes. That's less than 14 bars if you play 8th notes. Press record. You see the LEDs blinking. Adjust the tempo if you like. Now you can start the recording by pressing a key. The last selected rhythm will always start. You can't make a recording without rhythm. Start the recording with the rhythm button if you need an intro with drums only. The notes will be quantized with a 16th resolution. I like that. But triplets are not possible, so the swing and slow rock rhythms are not very useful for recordings. You can change tempo, instrument or rhythm during recording, but the changes will not be recorded. Press the rhythm stop, record stop or playback stop button to stop the recording. The playback always starts from the beginning and with the initially selected rhythm and instrument. You can't change the recorded instrument, but you can change the rhythm during playback. And you can play along with a different sound in two voices. Or as the manual says, you can get an interesting effect by doing this. The melody will not be stored when power is turned off. If you want to make a new recording, simply press record again. The previous recording will be erased when you press a key. If you want to record a difficult passage, make it slower. This is one of the simplest keyboards I got, and I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna use it a lot in the future. Its successor, the PSS-100, is much more versatile. The only thing it can't do is the slide effect. I'm really missing a sustain switch, or at least a single instrument with a bit of release. I will sample the instruments and put a couple of tracks on Bandcamp. By the way, these two notes sound after 2 minutes without pressing a button or key, even if it runs with power supply. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.